So if I throw out a few names, could you just give a little bit about each guy, what you're seeing from the camp? Misi, I guess, to start with, what are you seeing from him?
Yeah, Misi's doing a really good job. Obviously, he brings a lot to the table with leadership. His improvement just with what we've been doing, been really, really good from spring to now. He's carried it over. He's just hit his stride going into fall camp, but he's playing at a really high level right now. I like the way that he's playing. He's a really smart player, as well as just a great leader. That's one of the things that is probably the biggest thing that sticks out. I mean, he's obviously doing good things good, but we're so young in the room, and so having him there, having his leadership, his personality, his influence has been really, really huge.
And Thomas Collins.
Yeah, TC is super explosive player. Is really come along from spring to now, and I think he's probably one of the most explosive D-linemen that we've got.
What's the biggest progression you've seen with him between spring and now?
Just understanding football. He and I talked a little bit about just his background and just kind of coming. He's a really good player, and he seems to understand things. But then there's some questions that he brings up, and it's like, I didn't realize you didn't think about or knew that. And so his football IQ has come up a lot. I'll talk about just in Sweden, they'd have these 2-hour practices, these 8-man football or whatever it is. And so he's doing like an hour and a half of individual and then playing ball. And so just the tactical part of playing the game, understanding and seeing him, see nuances and blocks and counters to beat it. I mean, those kinds of things. He's really, really coming along.
And Hill, what are you seeing from him?
Ty G's doing a good job. He's a solid player. He's plays in a bunch of just different packages that we've got, and so really expecting him to just be a part of the group. And like I said, you guys know that the group is young, and so we've got to. Right now, we're still kind of just mixing and matching, just different guys in different packages, just to see kind of who's doing what and how they're playing. But Ty G's been a solid player for us.
What's it like for you coaching against such a young group, building this from the ground up, and how do you kind of have to address that as a coach, knowing that a lot of these kids are just starting to gain the experience that they need to?
Just day by day. I mean, they're super hungry. And it's a group that's put together well, mentally and emotionally. They're hungry and they want to do things. They're trying to do things right. And Misi has been a great leader, but also the younger guys have been good followers. And so. They're just hungry to work at things and just improve things. This last week has really been good with just seeing them coach each other, and they've been receptive to each other. There's obviously competition going on, but it's been healthy competition. And so with me rotating them and them understanding that we really need everybody to play. We need bodies. It's been good that way.
And JoJo, what are you seeing from him?
Yeah, JoJo is super slippery. And he just sometimes he does things. It's just like, man, I don't know if anybody else can do that. And so he's got a cool little slipperiness to the way that he plays that makes him productive. And so JoJo's coming along as well. Another freshman that's just learning the game and putting things together from spring to now.
What have you seen out of Tavita so far in camp?
Yeah, he's the same, right? Another freshman that's actually from Tonga that didn't really play a lot of football growing up. His understanding of the game, the nuances of the game, just why things happen. I mean, it's for me, it's been good as a coach and a teacher, because it's like backing things down, going back to just the essentials, going back to just reminding myself of just why we do things, and why certain things matter, and things that you take for granted when you have an older group and you just kind of say one word and there's they all get to where they need to be. But it's there's a lot of nuances that you've got to back down and teach and just be patient in their learning process.
So a lot more focus on like fundamentals and technique and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Kelsey, what are you seeing from Kelsey?
Yeah, Kels is coming. He's really just been doing individual this fall until 2 days ago. And we're starting to just kind of feed him 1 rep at a time, 2 reps at a time, and as he's been playing, it's been good so far. And so it's still a lot of really early to kind of see where he's at, but in the plays that he has been in, he's actually been really productive, which has been good.
What's the number one skill you're looking to refine on the D-line?
That is a complicated question.
Complicated answer.
Yeah, how much time do you have? It's yeah, you know, there are so many. When you're talking about D-line play, right? It's you're asking so many things, right? There's again, complicated question, complicated answers. So you know, you're working on takeoff, right? You're working on hands. Then it's like, okay, here's a base block, here's a reach block, here's a double team, here's a scoop block, here's a pass, here's screen. You know, there's so many different reactions that you're asking them to. And so for us, at the point of attack, you don't have much time to react, right? And so as you're coming out of your stance, if you're just standing there waiting to see what type of block it is, now you're doing it wrong. Okay, now you're coming out of your stance. I thought it was this block. I got knocked over. Now that was wrong. You know what I mean? And so there's just fine tuning and tweaking and just learning to understand this. And once I get into the fit, I'm feeling it this way, so I've got to react this way. I want to continue to keep my power, but this guy's going. You know what I mean? It's just. Come in and sit down and we'll talk some film a little bit, and then you'll start really it's hand-to-hand combat, right? It's hand-to-hand combat with an offensive line that is trying to move or influence a defensive line, and we've got to continue to stay powerful and vertical because that's the style of defense that we play, but at the same time being under control and reacting to where we're supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Is there a benefit to having such a young group?
There's more benefit to having an older group. when you I mean, there's, you know, it is what it is. There's a lot of learning to go on. It's nice to get a kind of a clean slate and you know, start throwing paint and trying to fix it as you're going. But it's always nicer just to have guys that kind of.
In a way, though, you get to, you know, sort of really mold your group.
It is, but you take tons of lumps. There's a lot of lumps to be taken that we will take this year with the young group, and it's just the way that it is. But when you take those lumps, you know, 2, 3, 4 years now, but down the road, it really pays off. Just like the D-line last year that was here. I mean, it was a D-line that had all kind of come up together in the same system, and were really good for the last 2 years. You know.
Okay, we'll do last question.
Peter was a little dinged up at his last school. Does it seem like he's getting to the point where he's kind of getting his body right and can just be out here?
Yeah, slowly. That's every D lineman's always dinged up one way or the other, but he's been practicing. He's been good, and at least he shows a lot of reps that are just like I don't want to say. I'm not going to say it because it's the leader. Really, really good reps. Like that remind me of other D linemen that I've coached in other places. That I'm just like, damn, that looks like this guy, you know.
Who in particular kind of comes to mind?
So there's a D lineman I coached at Utah named Lowell Lopulele. It's Star Lopulele's little brother, and I had him as a freshman sophomore, and he's just Vita shows a lot like that. And then other times it's like, who is this guy, you know? But that's freshman. I mean, you're correcting and you're kind of like nuances, and it's like. I mean, I had one player that I was 2 years in, and we were talking about boundary and field on the hash, right? When you're on a hash, one part's longer than the other. It's like 2 years in, he's like, oh, that's the boundary. It's like, you think he gets it, you know what I mean? It's just, but it's just, there's 50 million things to have to think about when you're playing ball, schemes, and then you've got hand-to-hand combat, and there's just a lot that goes into it, but they're learning and growing, and like the group. I mean, we're not where we need to be, obviously, but we're on pace right now to play some pretty good ball.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.